Today's episode of the Ramp It Up podcast contains explicit language and may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener's discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the Ramp It Up podcast with your host, Ronell Sinuis.
Are you ready to ramp it up?
Ramp it up, ew!
Hey, yo, ramp it up, B.
Girl, ramp it up! Ramp it up!
The Ramp It Up podcast.
Hey, you need to ramp it up.
Ramp it up.
And we are back for another episode of the Ramp It Up podcast. I'm your host and your favorite Zoe on Wheels, Ronell. We are officially a few days into the month of March. Shout out to everyone who joined me on the podcast in February where we were talking about relationships and love and just loving yourself if you choose to do the single thing. But now we are switching gears this month and we are celebrating a few things. First and foremost, I have quite a few family members who have birthdays in the month of March. There are so many that I'm just going to leave those for the end of the month and just kind of list them out for you guys and to throw those shout outs out there. But also in the month of March, we are celebrating International Women's Day. In fact, that is today, March the 8th, where we recognize the women in history and in our present who have contributed to this amazing society that we benefit from on a regular day. Those who have fought for equality, those who have made advances in different areas of study, those who have contributed with their inventions, and just women in our daily lives who have built us into the individuals we are. So to all of the women who are out there, we celebrate you. We are pushing for equality and to put aside any prejudices or misconceptions that are out there. For those of you guys who don't know too much about International Women's Day, and I include myself in that bunch, International Women's Day is a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. Significant activity is witnessed worldwide as groups come together to celebrate women's achievements or rally for women's equality. Now, they have a theme this year. It is Break the Bias. So I will be sharing a link on the episode notes so you can learn a little bit more about International Women's Day, how you can celebrate it. In fact, I have 10. It's a list of 10 ways that you can celebrate International Women's Day. I'll give you a preview. Let's give you a quick preview of how we can celebrate International Women's Day. I'll give you 3 out of the 10. I think the most important is to acknowledge the awesome women in your life, the women you come in contact with on a regular basis. For myself, I have to start first and foremost with my mother, the most amazing woman out there. She made me. And she helped mold me into the man that I am today. Also, my sisters have amazing siblings, older and younger than me, who have also been there for me each and every step of the way in my life. My godmother, my aunts, and my cousins have all been pillars in my life. I've received spankings from most of them, but they've all been great and continue to be great in their individual families and in their workplaces and the careers that they have pursued. Also to the women who have helped me post-injury, my primary care physician, the PT and OTs, the therapists that I have worked with, the home health aides and patient care assistants who help me on a daily basis. Without you ladies, literally, I would not be able to do anything. And of course, just the many others that I come across on a regular, those who deliver products, whether it be through Amazon or FedEx or through Uber Eats when I be trying to get my lunch. It's just the amazing friends that I have who are women who stand out and support me. So I have to say thank you. I won't say any names because I'm sure I will forget many of you guys. So acknowledge the awesome women in your life as well. Number 2, support women-owned businesses. Now, I'm going to tiptoe and hopefully not say anything inappropriate, but I don't want to say support women-owned businesses just because they're women-owned businesses, but because they are great businesses. They're great business owners. They're amazing professionals, and don't let the bias that may be out there that women-owned businesses do not succeed or they are not as good as some of the competitions. I know truck drivers who are women, people who own trucking companies who are women. I know lawyers who are amazing lawyers at what they do, and they are women. Those who own stores. I know a few doulas out there, so shout out to the women who serve other women and also open it up to men to understand what's going on. So if you haven't participated or patroned any of these businesses, do so. Give the women out there an opportunity. I know I try to do so on a regular basis. And if you haven't done so for friends or people you may not even know personally, if you don't patron them directly, suggest them to others to check out those businesses as well. So support women owned businesses. And last but not least, you can donate to a charity that specializes in women interests, whether they be healthcare, encouraging women in their studies, in the workplace, those who have been dealing with some sort of battery or abuse or any other areas where we can donate and support women. Go ahead and donate. And for these three and the other 7 on the list, don't just do them today because it's International Women's Day. Don't just do them this week, this month, or this year, but keep it in mind on a regular basis so we can appreciate the women in our lives and the women across the world. And as the theme says, break the bias. So just a little bit about International Women's Day. We celebrate you all, and I want to support you first and foremost from the Ramp It Up podcast. We thank you. Moving on for today's topic, we are talking about technology, specifically assistive technologies. If you guys joined on February the 10th, I believe it was the second Thursday of the month, where I hosted the United Spinal's Tech Access Group Tech Talks. The Tech Talks is a series that we're going to be holding on Zoom, where we're talking about technology and how they assist people like myself who have mobility challenges or disabilities or disorders, and how we use assistive technology to pretty much take care of our daily lives, whether it be appliances in the home, whether they're tools that we use to work or educate ourselves, low tech, high tech. We're talking about it all. If you guys missed last month, it is available online. I'll be putting the link in the episode notes as well, and also the link to join us this Thursday, the 10th, again, for our next session. If you don't know what assistive technologies are, stay tuned, because in this episode we are talking to a special guest. She is actually one of the first individuals who introduced me to assistive technologies and kind of got me on the path where I'm at now. In fact, many people have asked, how have I been able to run the podcast, record, edit, and post it all on my own, even though I have some mobility challenges? But with the help of assistive technologies and our special guest, who I'll be introducing in just a second, I've been able to do so, and I've encouraged many friends and other people I've come across to check them out as well. So our special guest goes by the name of Ana Maria Nevares, aka Ana. She is a state certified special education teacher, a native Spanish speaker, and has coordinated the South Florida Regional FAAST program for the last 10 years. Now, for those of you who do not know what FAAST is the Florida Alliance for Assistive Services and Technology. She has extensive experience providing trainings on assistive technology, educating individuals and professionals on how these devices can support education, employment, and our daily lives. Additionally, she serves as a master coach in the supervision of educational specialists who are training to work one-on-one with teachers in support of assistive technology in the classroom. So in this episode, we're going to talk a little bit about assistive technology, how FAAST, a Florida-based organization, helps people connect with the devices that they need, and how Ana facilitates the education. So stay tuned for the conversation with Ana Nevares. And for today's episode, we have a special guest. I've gotten to know her over the past few years. I have to ask you, which would you prefer? Do I say Ana Maria or Ana?
Let's go with Ana. I sometimes feel when they call my entire name, it's like my mom, scolding me or something.
Pretty much. Okay, no flashbacks here. Ana,
No.
Thank you for joining me, Ana. How are you doing today?
I am good. Thank you for having me today. I'm really excited to be here.
Cool. And this week we are celebrating International Women's Day. So happy International Women's Day to you.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So I talked a bit about you before, and I've mentioned the organization we're working with. But to jump into it in more detail, Anna works with the FAAST program. I always get the acronym wrong. The Florida Alliance for Assistive Services and Technology.
Wonderful. Yes.
I did it. All right. So you are the Assistive Technology and Education Specialist for the past 10 years, if I'm not mistaken.
For our regional office, yes, in Broward, Miami-Dade, and Monroe, yes.
All right. Shout out to South Florida. We're all Miami folks down here. And I met Anna in the Miami office that is across the street from the Jackson Memorial Hospital, the main campus, where I was doing PT and OT. I think we met in 2017? 17 or 18 is when I was introduced to Anna.
Wow, that long ago? Wow.
Oh, yeah. It feels like a whole nother world pre-COVID.
Yes, exactly. Oh, I can only categorize pre-COVID, post-COVID. That's it.
Oh, it's a shame. Hopefully in another 5 years, we will forget all about it. This never happened. But so FAAST, and I'm going to give a really short version of it. And of course, you can do way better than I. But Anna and the other folks from FAAST, and of course, my OT introduced me to Assistive Technologies, which were pretty much devices that allowed me to get back into my daily activities. My first interests were my laptop and my computer, but then it has evolved into allowing me to do work and to get back into my studies. So in short, Anna, we're going to talk a bit about your background and what assistive technologies are. So in your bio, it was very impressive, but it talked a bit about your teaching background. So can you tell me a little bit about your history in teaching and, of course, how you got involved with AT?
Of course. So my background is in special education. I started off teaching in the public school system, particularly in what we call self-contained classroom with children who had autism. And so my first introduction to assistive technology had to deal more with tools that would help my students with communication, perhaps behavior, like the use of visual schedules, and then some support for reading and writing tools. But it was, I would say, somewhat basic. My knowledge at the time, I knew well enough to help my students, but it wasn't as easy to find support or information on how to actually use these tools. It was a lot of self-learning, reading, trying to go to workshops, professional developments, which they did offer through the public school system. But a lot of initiative on my part to sort of immerse myself in how to use these tools in the classroom. Obviously, another barrier was access to these tools, having the opportunity to actually get them in my classroom. But it wasn't until I left the public school system and transitioned to working at the Mailman Center for Child Development, particularly when the Mailman Center started housing the regional center for FAAST over, like 12 years ago. That's crazy. That's when I transitioned to Mailman to particularly work in our FAAST program or regional office. And that's when I really, my mind exploded when it came to AT and realizing that it is something that can really impact every aspect of someone's life, that it can be a range of tools of things that either you make yourself or are store-bought or seem very complex, and that can be incorporated in someone's education, daily life, employment, and more so that it can be used at any age, whether you're, a toddler or an adult or elderly person. And
we're talking about, I guess, let's say about, I'm just going to assume about 15 years ago when you were in the teaching space, assistive technology looked like. Now we're talking about, voice control and yes. So what did it look like then?
So back then, it was a lot of speech. They're still available to this day. But for example, speech generating devices were buttons that you would add pictures to or press buttons, versus, pictures that you actually had to print out, laminate. As I say, these are tools that are still used today and not purposeful. But certainly with the introduction of tablets, iPhones, smart technology, Alexas. Oh my God, my Alexa's gonna go off. No, it didn't. It really, I would say, made some of these tools like environmental controls, speech devices, writing tools, it made them a lot more accessible through the technology that we use day to day. Like I said, tablets, iPhones, or, Alexas. Or Series. So that is actually really exciting, made it more universal, more commonplace, and more accessible. But it also makes it not challenging, but particularly important that, you kind of have to keep up to date with all the new things that are coming up, because what you may be using 5 years ago, there might be a brand new product that basically is improved. Like our computers, you buy a computer and 5 years from now it's going to be able to do all these other things. So
I had the opportunity to meet individuals who either had a spinal cord injury or who lived their entire lives with a disorder of some sort that limited their mobility. And they tried to, and I say try because it's hard to imagine what some of the first iterations of like Dragon Naturally Speaking, right, or some of those devices. And I was like, I remember the 90s. We only used the computers for Oregon Trail. Like, I do all these other things with it. And to see where they've come now, they've been fortunate enough to see that advancement. But as you said, like after that initial technology boom, within a year, that technology is now obsolete.
Right. And so I would say that the barrier that is encountered a lot with AT, not only like the constant upkeeping or updating, but it's knowing where to find the resources for AT, how to access the AT. So that's like programs like FAAST come in play and are helpful. So may I say a little bit about FAAST at this point?
Just about the transition. So exactly, we've used the name several times. What is FAAST?
So basically every territory and state in the United States has a designated state assistive technology program available to their community for their to learn about, create awareness of AT products and create awareness of acquisition of AT. And so FAAST is the way that Florida provides this resource. Headquarters are based out of Tallahassee, serving our entire state. But as I mentioned, I work for the South and Broward Regional Centers. They are regional centers all across the state. So whether you live in, Tampa, Orlando, Jacksonville, there might be an office in your area. And by office, I mean an actual lab, as you yourself were able to come to, where we house the AT available to everyone to demonstrate or train, and more importantly, to actually borrow for a short period so that the person is able to take them to their real environment and use it, home, therapy, school, work. So I always equate our programs similar to like how the public library works. You go to a free place with books that you're able to preview, and if something catches your attention, you're able to check it out. You kind of have to return it, but at least you got the opportunity to use it and learn of ways. Okay, depending on certain products, some products, there's avenues that we can help individuals acquire funding for. There's products that are a little harder for that. So, even the opportunity of borrowing something to make sure that if you are investing in this, you're not like wasting your money is is valuable in itself. But there's a lot of AT information, assistant knowledge, awareness that is provided through these sort of AT state programs such as FAAST that is really beneficial for, as you mentioned, you were brought in from your OT. So the more that our teachers, occupational therapists, support groups are aware of programs like FAAST, then you can spread the voice that, it's not up to all of you to feel like you have to be on top of the game of what is the latest AT in whatever, tool you're looking for, but at least where do I go for help?
I'm going to go ahead and like super oversimplify my experience and I guess the overall theme of FAAST, but for those listening, like, so essentially during my OT sessions at Jackson, Nadina, she was on the show before, decided that, with the career path I've been on and just in general, it was time for me to find out more what devices were out there, what programs were out there that would allow me to get back to work, be productive. And not only that, but entertain myself. Like a lot of these products aren't just for work. They're literally for you. So I went over to the lab. I met you guys and there was like 3 computers all set up and they're just different devices. And what I liked about the range of devices, you guys try to cover the range of different, in my case, mobility challenges. I didn't have the hand coordination to use the different mouse. So we can the head mouse, for those of you guys who see the little dot or who've heard me talk about the head mouse before. It's a hands-free mouse that uses, I think, an infrared to reflect. So you go there, you learn. It's a part education where you get to test out all these devices. Well, I think we were in the lab for like half an hour, just trying out different things. I tried out the Dragon Naturally Speaking. And then half is loaning these products. I'm not sure about the rest of you guys' wheelchairs. I'm not rich right now. I'm on. And a lot of these products are kind of expensive. I think the thing that really helped me out is we got to test them. I borrowed the Switch controls from you guys. I borrowed the Dragon Naturally Speaking program. I wasn't able to borrow the head mouse because I don't think it was available at the time, but I tested it out to the point where after using them for several weeks, it wasn't just a day or 2. I had them at home for a while to the point where I was like, man, do I have to give it back? That loaning program makes a difference. For one, you get to test your own abilities at home, and then you get to test the devices instead of just going out and buying it. And then, man, this one doesn't work for me, and hopefully being able to change it out. So a super oversimplification, but I think that is a good overview of the program. Now,
very well explained.
About the community outreach and education.
So talking about our community outreach, we do participate in a lot of activities in our community that are catered to individuals who could benefit from our ATUs. In fact, I have one coming up this Saturday at Jackson, the summit that is going on, Spinal Cord Injury Group. So
talk about your involvement. How will you be presenting at the summit?
So we have usually vendor tables where we display some of our AT right there for individuals who are attending to have an opportunity to trial some of the things that we bring, and obviously educate them about even the awareness of this program, where to find us, how to reach us, if they're not local, where to go, where to find resources in their respective areas, or even discussions about websites or products that people can research at their own time, because knowledge is power. So if you don't even know some of these things exist, you won't even look for them. So even at that level of giving them the option to understand where to find some of these tools online and find additional research, read on their own, educate themselves is a benefit in its own.
Now, 10 years of experience, can you talk a bit about some of the day-to-day and just some of the individuals you've helped and some of the learning experiences that you've shared with them?
Sure, yeah. We have it's a wide range, obviously, of people that do come to our clinic, because it's for every age group, every need, every purpose, every task, every activity. So we can see parents of small children who may have gross or fine motor difficulties for whatever different conditions, whether they're born or acquired with, and like children learn through play. So we expose them to switch adapted toys, or toys that will activate easier if motor difficulties are there. We can tap on individuals who may have communication difficulties, from as I worked with children with autism or adults with autism, to individuals who have an acquired condition like a stroke when they're elderly or older, individuals who may have accidents, as you experienced, where they all of a sudden want to get back to their daily lives of using phones, computers, and what tools are there available to access their devices, whether it's adapted keyboard, mice, text to speech to text, or head trackers, eye gaze systems, or even simple things as being able to button your own shirt, or unlock doors, turn on and off TV or lights. So it's a wide range of devices, tools, purposes that we can house at our center and assist individuals with.
Glad you actually mentioned that towards the end, because when people hear of assistive technologies, or when we're talking about technology, they tend to think of high tech. But a lot of individuals I know use some of the more low tech devices. Can you tell me about a few or give a couple of examples?
Sure. So by definition, assistive technology is any tool that either is handmade, customized, or store-bought, that it's going to help someone be more independent as possible in a given task. So that's a lot, that can be so many things. So it's very important to first understand and someone, just to backtrack, could have different needs. Like one person could need different types of AT tools for different things and different tasks. But in order to kind of create a more focused vision, I always say, let's think about the person or your strength, your weaknesses. Let's think about the specific tasks you're having a challenge with, or the ones that are the top of your list that are challenging. Let's think about where you hope to use this tool. Like, is it something you want to use only at home? You want it to be on the go and portable, so that then we can find tools to help you with that task. So as you mentioned, it could be a range. If someone is not comfortable using smart technology, for example, we might not recommend, a device that rests on an iPad or an iPhone. But if someone is very savvy with their iPad or their laptop, that's an area we could then use to enhance what we're trying to help with. So that's where it comes into play, that we really need to make sure we're feature matching the needs of the person, the task at hand, and what that tool can offer, to make sure. And then the trial period, as you mentioned, that is super important, to make sure that that tool is going to be the best one to help you in whatever task you're having a hard time with.
Through the support groups and just conversations, I have come across people who just don't trust the smart technology. They think they're spying, and they would rather figure out another means of adapting. Or individuals who, post-injury, you do a lot of recovery. So sometimes, I know in the beginning I use switch control and I don't need it anymore. So after a while, your needs may change. So being able to adapt and, like you said, focus on, I don't want to say create a hierarchy, but the reality is, you kind of have to at some degree, and then move down from there to specialize.
Yes, absolutely. It's not one size fits all. We know that there are products that are geared towards specific injury or need or task, but ultimately, everybody's their own person. So the opportunity to trial some of these things that in paper sound perfect, but in practice is what's going to give us the real information of whether it's going to be helpful or not.
As I navigate a bit more in the tech world of post-injury, I'm learning out, first of all, there are careers out here. There are ways for folks to make money, which is amazing, because, again, the misconception post-injury, or for people who live with disabilities, is there's nothing afterwards. There's no gainful employment. There are people who are interested in post-education, and it is not true whatsoever. So along the lines of assistive technology, you and I spoke earlier in the week where we talked about the Assistive Technology Professional Certification. About it.
So there's a website called Resna, Rehabilitation Engineering and Assistive Technology Society of North America.
Long
You
names.
want all these long acronyms. Or Resna. You Google Resna, you will find it. There is, I would say there is one certification, the Assistive Technology Professional ATP certification. For those who are interested in maybe having this type of certification, it does require, it's typically geared to individuals who already work in the sort of fields that require the use of AT, like therapists, educators, professionals that work with individuals who need these devices. And a lot of it is hands-on experience as well in the like working somewhere like a FAAST center or a clinic where there's evaluations for assistive technology tools. But if I encourage anyone interested in learning more about this certification to go to the Resna website. I'm not sure if there's a way for you to share with the exact link that I could share with the
Yeah, I'm gonna put the link in the episode notes, you guys, along with the FAAST and some other information.
Perfect. Because that's where people will be able to find down really specific information about, who's eligible for this type of, or what kind of requirements you need to meet prior to want to be certified. Because it's not like you just go and get certified. You do need to have some hands-on experience. Information about the exam, how to apply, eligibility requirements. It's all really nicely delineated in this particular site. Be more than happy. I'm going to just add it here to your chat just so you have it, but I'm happy to also email that to you if you want to share that specific link as well.
I've been delving into the website as well because I've been doing some searching into web accessibility, because it's one thing to have these devices, but it's another thing to make sure that they interact properly with the different
web, and that you will find that with that there's like a roller coaster, of how accessible one website is compared to another.
Try to see if I could put these two certifications together to make some money, but we'll talk about this between you and I on the side. But definitely, and just for those listening, the reality of the program is this is, like you said, it's all over South Florida, but it is there are programs similar all across the nation, you were saying.
Yes. It's called the at3center.net. I can send that to you as well.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna need that.
at3center.net. This is where, regardless of where you live, you would be able to search for your state's or territories' state assistive technology program. So as I mentioned, there would be one in California and Louisiana, and FAAST would be for Florida. But yes, that's where anyone that's interested in learning more about their own state's free assistive technology program, they would go to that website.
In a shameless plug, I told you about the United Spinal Tech Access Group that we're doing the Tech Talks on Thursday nights.
Mm-hmm.
Second Thursday of every month, 5 to 6 p.m. This Thursday at 10 p.m. See how shameless. But
oh, that's awesome. I love it.
we actually brought it up last month. And of course, remembering you, I was like, FAAST was the only one I knew about. I didn't know about other states. And there is a lack of knowledge, because although we may have been injured or people are joining support groups, not everyone knows that these programs exist. So as Anna said, I'm going to add the AT3 website here in the notes. If you guys know someone that can, and it's not only for individuals who have injuries, like she said, it's for a range of people who may need these services. And I know people who just started dealing with arthritis and carpal tunnel that aided them in their daily activities. So go ahead and take advantage, learn as much as you can. Tell them how they can find out more about FAAST, the website, if they want to call to find out about the services.
Yeah. And I also want to include, because we did talk about, the demonstration, the training, the opportunity to borrow AT, but I do want to say that FAAST as a whole also offers some assistance with the acquisition of AT. And this will be more through our FAAST.org website, which is the website for the entire state of Florida, FAAST with 2 A's. They have 2 programs. One, it's called the AT Classifieds. Basically, it's almost like an eBay, Facebook Marketplace type thing, where people who may already own AT in good condition, or even brand new AT that's donated to centers. It could be an individual person selling it, or it could be a community like a CIL donating items. by different categories. It could be, walkers, scooters, ramps. Obviously, the items can change because it depends on the type of inventory, but what it does is connect people that are selling or donating AT to people that need it. So it's a great site to sort of monitor through the FAAST.org website. And FAAST also offers a financial loan program. So not a grant, but it is definitely the opportunity to apply for a loan that is meant to help individuals purchase AT. So whether you have a big ticket item like modifying your kitchen or bathroom to make it wheelchair accessible, or whether, obviously it's all very relative, to your own personal needs, or someone who needs new hearing aids and doesn't have insurance and needs to purchase them, they are able to apply for this financial loan. And it's meant to be easier to qualify for and kind of have lower interest rate. Obviously, those are managed more by our headquarters office. So definitely I could help put people in touch with the right person to learn more about these programs and how they could benefit you. And they're meant to really help people actually acquire the AT.
That is amazing. So not only can you guys receive donations if they're available, you can purchase from people who are privately selling, but there's also a loan program. So I'm going to be checking out the website because I'm trying to get a new video game system that is active. So we'll talk about that later.
Sure.
But the reality is, again, it's a very needed program, and I'm happy it's there because I wouldn't be here doing the podcast without the assistance of Anna. And also, actually, before I forget, can you tell them about what you guys did during the pandemic for individuals who are digitally?
Of course, as many other entities, programs did this virtual kind of switch to the virtual world, we've done the same, where we're able to offer demonstrations, trainings virtually, so individuals don't necessarily have to come to our lab, and we are able to ship devices for free to individuals to borrow. So anyone that needs something, we could ship them to you directly, including return shipping label. And so that actually has helped us through the pandemic. And I think it's a practice we will continue to use because we found that it's very helpful for some individuals who find it difficult to travel, to make it directly to our lab. Now we have another modality of services, so we can keep both our in-person for those interested in coming to our lab, seeing things live, borrowing things as they leave the office, or virtually if they want to prefer to meet, have the item sent to them, and just meet afterwards for demonstration once they have the item in their possession.
Appreciate it. And I know I cut into your day, and I thank you so much for making some time for me and for the podcast to share with everyone. But can you tell them the number to the office, the South Florida office, and of course the website again, so you can find out more about FAAST?
So to contact us, you can call 305. This would be to contact the Broward, South, and Miami-Dade office for FAAST. You can contact 305-243-5706. So 305-243-5706. And our website would be www.faast.org. So FAAST.org.
Anna, you've done amazing thus far. I plan on keeping you in contact for so many other things.
Of course, of course.
But again, for everyone listening, if you know yourself or anyone else that can benefit from assistive technologies, or if you're interested in career change, check out the websites. I'll be making sure to list them all in our episode notes. But for now, Anna, thank you so much. Hopefully you get a chance to check me out during the Tech Talks recorded. So share that with anyone else if they're interested as well. Until then, have a wonderful day.
Everyone, bye. Take care, and thank you so much. You're wonderful.
You're saying that because I'm handsome, that's all.
Thanks for tuning in to the show. Connect with the podcast on social media. Check out our Instagram page at ramp.it.podcast rampitup.podcast or email us at rampituppodcast@gmail.com. Until next time.